Hi, Sue Rose Minahan, and today is January 17, 2021 for Talk Cosmos Chat 10-minute section. I'm going to start using the 12 o'clock a.m. chart, and it's going to be based out of Kaluakona. And life is a constant process of organizing. At least it is for me. I know I am a got a Virgo rising, but still, it is a matter of let's just think of the goals that we have in life. We just had a new moon on the 13th, 12th, and 13th, and today is the 17th. That's a few days afterwards, and we have those goals. It's a new moon in Capricorn. We're igniting. It's a cardinal action, so igniting is part of it. It's finding form, and it's the steps. So organizing is part of those steps. I mean, it all relates really. And interestingly, right now, as of the 14th, Uranus went direct. All the planets are going forward. This happens at this time of year. And I have not looked back for many, many years. But last year, all the planets were direct. And it will be direct for several months. Although Mercury, of course, goes retrograde 3 times a year and on because it's so close to the sun, and in that path that it orbits so quickly around the sun, it appears to go backwards, and that's our experience. And that will be on the 30th. So yes, there will be a planet retrograde, but predominantly when that's finished, in that lasts for about 3 weeks, we will have all direct planets again for half of February, all of March, and most of April. Now, Uranus, most interestingly, is the last planet to go direct because later in the year, just like last year, and this is just looking at it from a short terms, but essentially they all have the same orbits that they always have. In other words, they orbit the sun, and a revolution, it takes like Jupiter 1 year, Saturn 2.5, 3 years, Saturn 29 and a half years, or Uranus 84 years, and Neptune, I think it's 168, Pluto 248. So, in other words, it's a systematic revolution, meaning that we can determine that these planets will go retrograde for a certain length of time predominantly. And at this moment, what I am trying to connect with is that Uranus, interestingly, is the last planet to really go direct of the major planets, because you will notice that come August, they're all the planets about can be many, a predominant percentage of the planets are retrograde, except for Uranus. And then they all go direct because they started earlier, and Uranus will be the last to go direct. Now, Uranus is very significant now, particularly always, all the planets are always significant. It is the ruler for, the co ruler for Aquarius. Saturn is the other ruler. And because we have Jupiter this year and Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus has great significance. And the so this behavior, what is it to go direct? We can say that we're unthwarted, yet if we have no one checks and balances, we can thwart. That's THWART, thwart. We can thwart ourselves. So checks and balances, being slowed down and having to reassess some energies has some significance. We're on a individual and a global terms, and I'm going to pull up the chart that we're talking about right now. Oh, here it is for the 17th. And I'm producing this a little bit late. today there was a, several things about it, and it's unpredictable. It's uh, Uranus, as we're talking about, is unpredictable. It's sudden. It's innovative, and Mars is approaching it. We've discussed that. It's going to be conjunct on the 20th. The moon, if you look at today, one of the very signatures, well, there's nothing out of bounds. That's one thing. All the planets are within the 23.44 degrees from the ecliptic. That's the path of the sun. So, in one way, we're all going forward as we've always thought we were. Perhaps that's really a greater way to think about it. These retrogrades force us to rethink. So many energies force us to rethink. Whenever there's a confrontation, and right now there are confrontations of thought, of ideology, and action, because things are direct and people are wanting to act on it. And there are energies prompting us to do that. Immediately today, the moon at 19 degrees Pisces was absolutely square the nodes. And if you look at the declination, now declination, okay, going back to the moon, that's our emotional base. Now, as of tomorrow, it'll be in Aries. It moves 13 degrees a day, and actually it's going a little slower right now. It's going 12 point something, and the sun's going a little faster. There's an average, and because of the seasons, it shifts. If I was to look at the reports for today, and I trust you can see this, you'll see here, this is solar fire. Nothing is retrograde. They're all going forward. If you look at the declination, that is declination is very much in a sense of where it goes from the um, equator. And so it's very much like latitude, but it's not latitude. Latitude's different. So, but here it there's another energy of astrology, one of the subtleties. If they're the same, either plus would be on the north side of the equator, minus is below the equator. And if you look here, Pluto is minus at 22, and so is, no, that's right, that'll be tomorrow. Okay, so today, right now, we have, yes, we have the south node at 19 in Sag, but nevertheless, it's 23 degrees minus 23 degrees. And so is over here Venus. So there is a relationship between Venus that is in Capricorn and our south node. We are, the south node is what we're releasing and what's familiar. We keep it, but we balance it through checks and balance with our north node, which is in Gemini. So with Sagittarius, it's going to be our belief systems. It's going to be our religious philosophies too, to combine that. It's going to be cultures. And with Venus in Capricorn, it's going to want the traditional. It's going to have our values. It's going to be relationships. It rules both Libra and Taurus. And it's going to have rules and regulations. So really, how are we approaching there's different ideas about how we're approaching those traditional philosophies. And we see that in society. So this is just one little thought. And I'm going to continue tomorrow with really more of those declinations and more of what these direct planets are doing. Thanks so much. It's Talk Cosmos. Please comment, and subscribe. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.